police immediately.
I don't get it.
No idea what you're talking about. Yes? Hello? Hi, stranger.
I want ham and eggs and flapjacks with lots of butter and syrup and coffee. I'll take the coffee now.
Why have you come here tonight? Ranger.
Where's my dough?
Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to Vibes and Stuff live in the morning. It's your host, Chuck Allen, with your host, Uncle Freezy, coming to you live on a Tuesday, July 5th.
Them.
Here we go. Yeah, man. 4th of July was just yesterday. Happy Independence Day to those out there. You know,
Yeah, man.
salute to all of the veterans out there and active servicemen and women. Because without these folks, man, we would not be where we are as a society. Thank you for your sacrifice, for sure. Vibrant ones, how was your weekend? How are you doing this morning? How you doing?
Man, I'm good, bro. I'm good, man. I'm excited to be back rocking with. I'm so excited to be back rocking. I got Lawrence Tears thing up here in the corner. Let me take that down and put Vibes and Stuff thing in the corner. My bad.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man. I'm super excited, man, to be back on Vibes and Stuff, man. I've been rocking the Lawrence Tears thing all weekend, man. Missing Vibes and Stuff. You know, it was me and Chuck Allen pet project. This right here, get here in the mornings, man, to get all you Vibesters and Lawrence Tears members and people in general off to a good start. You know what I'm saying? I'm excited to be back, man. Bam.
Yes, sir. Me. Bim.
Yeah, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, man.
Before we get into it, really fully, I something I just want to touch on real quick, this morning. Sorry to be the Debbie Downer early this morning, but I think we ought to talk about what happened out there in Highland Park, I believe, Illinois.
Okay.
6 people died, 30 people injured, another mass shooting.
Right.
As we're speaking, I'm trying to get some updated information, because I saw it on my way this morning, maybe about 5 o'clock. I saw the breaking news story. I watched maybe like 5 minutes of it, and then I hopped in, a cab.
In the limo, yeah.
Well, speaking of that, that's what they said when I got my text. It was supposed to be a 535i, and it ends up being a Kia Optima, and I was really upset about that.
I would be also. Yeah.
Like, I was so serious. I'm looking for dark gray. It's supposed to be a dark gray 335i. That's what the text message says. And the guy pulls up in a dark gray Kia Optima. I was like, the audacity, sir.
The audacity.
The audacity. How dare you come pick me up in this Korean-made car that has leather seats and very comfortable back.
Yeah, it's a nice car.
It's a nice car. It's a nice car, man.
Yeah, it's nice, but yeah. But not to make light of the mass shooting thing, bro. I'm so frustrated by this mass shooting thing, bro. I'm so frustrated by this mass shooting thing.
Okay. So what we know so far, at least 6 people were killed in a shooting in downtown Highland Park, Illinois during the 4th of July parade, and dozens have been injured, officials said. The suspected gunman, who has not been charged, was taken into custody Monday evening. He used a high-power rifle in the attack, police say. Witnesses described frantically fleeing when they realized they heard gunshots, not fireworks. Highland Park is located about 25 miles north of Chicago, in the suburbs.
Right.
The picture that they have up of this young man, this young terrorist. You see, he looks Caucasian. They still haven't given us a motive of why the attack, like what was going on in his mind,
Right.
what provoked it.
Right.
First and foremost, man, my condolences to all of the families who lost loved ones on that day, who went out to celebrate like most Americans do on the 4th of July, and lost their lives unwarranted in this tragedy. As a community, as a country, as people here in America, man, there's something going on mentally with folks that has to be addressed. It has to be addressed. Right. For those who saying, "Oh man, there's nothing normal about killing random people for no reason."
Right.
There's nothing normal about wanting to murder people just because.
Right. Right.
This is
it's a terrible thing, man. It's a terrible thing. Right. And the thing about this is the thing about the terribleness of this, and I'm sure that's not a word, but it applies here. Is it's a threefold thing. For one, no innocent person deserves to get their lives taken in a random act of violence. Right. 2, there is a mental health epidemic out here that people don't want to address. And 3 is making people fear for their lives in public. Right? Like people legit are starting to not want to go out and think, and I don't want to start something that may not be true. But me as a red-blooded American citizen that chooses the right to pack, even I kind of fear for my safety when I go out. Like, who are these weirdos coming in the store? You know, so it creates a weird paranoia. Like, these dudes here look like they could do, you know, like, are you just in the store paying for your gas? You like, yo, am I gonna have to pull out the Roscoe to defend myself right here? When all I should be doing is just paying for my gas.
Right.
You feel me? And So while it should never be threefold, it is a sad state that we're in. Right?
Yes.
People randomly dying. Right? A mental healthness, a mental health epidemic. And fearing for your safety in public. You got three
Exactly.
things. All of them are so serious. All of them are so serious that it makes you think just one of these issues alone should make everybody stop what they doggone doing and address it. But now you got three. It's like watching the dude at the circus juggle chainsaws and they talking to him. He juggling chainsaws. You ever been to the circus? The dude juggling chainsaws. He got 5 chainsaws up in the air, and then the lady walk up to him and he talking to her like, "Hey, give me a cigarette." And she put a cigarette in his mouth, and then she trying to strike the match, and the match won't light. You know what I'm saying? So he just like, "Give me the lighter," and then he take the lighter and he juggling and he light the cigarette, and then he give her the lighter back. And he like, "Yo, this motherfucker got his arm cut off." Now, and I know, and I know it sounds ridiculous, right? You like, oh snap, nah, man, that's what we're dealing with right now, right? Because in our communities, in our communities, we were worried about the thugs shooting at each other, and you just get hit with a stray bullet,
Right.
right? Now it's like when you go anywhere, it's not a straight bullet no more. It's a bullet with a purpose on it.
Yes.
The intent to kill is real.
Yes. What you just said, what you just said was so spot on. And for those who didn't get it or didn't hear it, rather, because I know you guys got it. Like this is a smart crowd here.
Yeah,
but
we deal with a smart crowd.
For those who didn't hear it, Unc said, I'm paraphrasing, but in the hood, you just knew to stay away from certain areas because things could jump off, right?
Because they be shooting over
stay
there.
away from such and such park.
Yeah.
Stay from, stay from the West End, stay from the East Side, that kind of thing, right?
Yeah. Don't stay away from Sunset Park. Stay away from Sunset Park. Stay out of East New York over by yeah.
Right. And so for the most part, you knew to stay clear of those places, and you stood clear of those places unless you lived there. And then that's a whole nother can of worms that we can open up, right?
Yeah.
So so you think, well, hey, if I'm Midtown, I'm downtown, I'm Main Street, I'm in, such and such circle or square, I'm good, but you're not. Because you could be eating ice cream with the family, had a great day, just walking around town, doing whatever, window shopping, whatever, and get picked off going to your car from Walmart.
Yeah.
Or that you've probably done every year.
Yeah.
With your family. It's tradition.
Yeah.
And then today, you die.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Now, one thing that I'm going to say, and I'm going to really walk the line on this because I don't want to be misconstrued. Do not let instances like this or the things that are going on in Chicago with gang culture, stop you from thinking about or wanting to own a gun. Because let me tell you something. History has shown when a group of people, when a nation disarms the public, they become enslaved. no rights for nobody.
Right. Right. Okay.
Millions of Jews were disarmed, rounded up, and murdered.
Yep.
China don't have any guns. And look at the things that go on over there.
Right.
So I'm just saying, these are terrible tragedies that I feel are mentally based, like they're rooted in someone's mental issues, whether it's their insecurities, whether it's their delusions.
Right.
There is more misinformation out there. And we all know how we can fall down the rabbit hole of YouTube. I've done it. And I'm watching all kinds of things that I would never really care about. But I'm just up one night and I'm just watching, a guy turn a boat anchor or a few lengths from a boat anchor, turn it into a Japanese sword.
Yeah.
Or find a rusty lighter and restore it, and like that's just stuff. So if I can find things like that, people there's a lot of conspiracy things, and you don't know if that's warped someone's mind. You don't know if it's schizophrenia. You don't know what's going on with these folks, but understand that there's something mentally wrong with them. And you can say the very same thing about these young kids murdering each other in Chicago.
And so
the kids that are in the hood.
So the thing about that though is I respectfully and humbly disagree with the gang culture thing. Right. The gang culture thing, I humbly disagree. I'm not saying that my thing is this. With gang culture and with things in life, human beings are okay. So here's my thing. Human beings are social animals. We're not solitary animals. Right?
Absolutely.
And what happens is at times we cater to our tribal yearnings. We need to have a pack leader. We need to be in some type of group. We need to be led in small samples by some small group leader. And this is not something I'm making up. This is something I know for a fact. People want to be in a group, and some people need it to be led, and they understand that. So they take comfort in getting in a small group, right? Whether it be church, whether it be gangs, whether it be Rotaries. And people laugh when I mention Rotaries, right? The Rotary thing is real. Rotaries are powerful, bro. Matter of fact, when you drive in certain towns, the first thing you see is Rotary stuff on the sign that says, "Welcome to Smallville," and you'll see Rotary things on their sign, right? This type of thing. So it won't say 3rd Street Crips on it or 2nd Street Bloods, but it'll say Rotary Club on the "Welcome to the City" sign, right? Rotary stuff is real. It's the Rotary stuff is where grandmas and aunties and all them stuff join and try to just do stuff in the community, right? It is what it is, but they have the wanting to get in, be in a group, right? And I'm not disrespecting Rotaries or gang members or churches or anything like that, right? Right. But the thing is, you can survive without them, right? You can survive without any of this stuff, but we have a need to, or a carnal instinct to be a part of them, so to speak. I'm not knocking that part. I'm not knocking that part, right? Because there are some people that have gone to, say, a church. For instance, my family has been a member of this one church since 1885. At least one member, 1870 something. My great grandfather, when the church was there, when they used to have church down by the river. Listen, they used to have church down by the river, right? Just get together and praise the Lord, right? Then they built the building and it got burnt down. Then they built the building and it got burnt down. Then they built the building and it got burnt down. Then they moved in town. And my great grandfather, right? He was a Freemason and a Mason, right? Laid the first brick on the church. It was a ceremony. He laid the first brick. The corners, he made the corner of the church. Started the corner, right? Put the little cornerstone down, put it in the thing, and they built the church. He did that, right? Right? And so what I'm getting at is people want to be connected. It's our thing. Connectivity, that's our thing, being connected to each other or to others. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not knocking like if you banging, all I'm saying is protect yourself, be safe, don't hurt nobody else. Right? If you in a Rotary, do your thing, improve the community, but make sure you're looking out for everybody, not just a certain group of people. Right? If you go into church, do your thing. Make sure you do it right. Right? If you in a fraternity, sorority, do your thing, help the community, wild out, party, do all our secret stuff, all these secret parties nobody know about, and all that stuff. Do your thing, have fun. Right? But what I'm saying is when we step outside of that and don't protect each other, and I'm talking about not just this small group, but people in general, then are we really adhering to the reason why we are all together? Right? Like, we have to look out for each other. It's like when me and Chuck get together, when me and Chuck Allen get together, me and Chuck ain't connected by nothing except this friendship that we're fostering.
Right.
And this right here. Right. But he and I are not in the same church. He and I didn't go to the same college. He and I are not in the same fraternity. He and I are not in the same Rotary Club. He and I are not in the same. We have certain things that connects us. That's the Knicks, vibes and stuff, and this friendship. Yeah. So there's no official connective tissue here. It's just those things that grew organically. Right. But if Chuck need me and I need Chuck gonna be there. And if Chuck need me, I'm gonna be there. Right. Absolutely. And it's not and part of it has got to do with a fostering brotherhood, but the other thing is the human element, which I think people have removed over the last, say, 10 years or so. The human element has been removed from a lot of stuff. You can't be human no more. You have to be robotic. Right. Like, you'll hear statements, I feel for the such and such of such and such community. It's such a shame that such and such. Hey, listen, you ain't saying nothing important. Why you even talking? When it pissed me off, right? Because when I watched the stuff that was going on in Ferguson, Missouri, you remember Ferguson?
Yes, I remember Ferguson.
When the stuff was going on in Ferguson, you had people on CNN talking all damn day. Some on one side, they out there like animals. I don't care if they hear me call them animals. What are you going to do to me? I'm sitting in this heavily protected and secure air-conditioned studio at CNN where nobody can touch me, so I can call people animals because I'm insulated. Right? But you wouldn't say that if you were in Ferguson.
Absolutely not.
You wouldn't say that if you were out on the street around other humans. But you in a CNN studio, you got the lights. I'm sorry, I use CNN as I think it was Fox, more Fox News. You sit in this air-conditioned studio. The temperature is perfect. The water that you're drinking is chilled to the temperature that you like it. You got a staff of 35 people working to make sure that when you come across the screen, you look perfect. Your makeup is perfect. The teleprompter you're reading from is scrolling at the perfect speed, right? The producers, everybody's making sure everything is pitch perfect for you to call people animals.
Right.
But if you were on the streets in Ferguson with police cars blocking off certain streets, bullets flying everywhere, everybody is feeling unsafe. Would you really call somebody an animal? Especially if those that want to be human have to get into survival mode, which is usually animalistic to some. Would you really call them an animal? Right? And then you have the other side of whatever. I'm not going to say whatever news station. I'm just saying just in general. Then you have the weeping wonders. Oh my God, this is such an American tragedy that such and such and such. Well, aside from you being in this studio with the perfect lighting and the perfect air and the water that you're drinking chilled to a perfect temperature, and your staff of 35 people making sure you come across the screen pitch perfect, and the teleprompter is scrolling at the perfect speed for you to read it, what are you doing? What are you doing? You're throwing it to Susie out on the street. This is who's usually the intern, by the way. You know, the people out on the street are the ones that hadn't worked their way up the ladder to get in the studio yet, right? I'm going to throw it to Susie Q out here on the street. Susie Q out there ducking. You can hear the gunshots, Chuck. It's crazy out here. You know what I'm saying? And whatever.
But you know that's on purpose, right? Because they know she's going to be shook. They know she's going to come across a certain way on camera, you know.
Right.
That's why they pick certain folks. It's let me
and you know
because
what that's
when
about,
you start
though?
talking like this, manipulation, keeping people scared.
And you know what they're doing? Both sides, you know what they're doing? They're selling advertising. Still.
Yes.
Both sides of it. Both sides are selling advertisers. Love it. You know what I'm saying?
We'll be
it's
right
the
back.
reason why Fox is we'll be right back after this commercial from Diet Coke. Feels so good going down. Diet Coke.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Do you remember the Pepsi commercial with one of the Jenner or Kardashian clan doing they're protesting, and she walks up to a cop and gives him a Pepsi, and he cracks it and drinks it, and now everybody's cheering and backflipping, and confetti is falling from the sky. And I was like, man, if you don't,
man, so many million people were offended by that commercial. That commercial offended the people that love cops. It offended cops, right? Because they were like, this dumbass B thing. Giving a Pepsi to a cop is going to make him safer. Drinking a Pepsi going to make him smarter. Who she thinks she is, right? And then the people on the other side, the anti-cop clan is like, that's why we out here getting killed in the streets, because dumbass cops is drinking Pepsi. You know what I'm saying? And both were a stretch, but it goes to show that in a super analytical society, where people overthink stuff, you can't win either way with certain things. Like for instance, Chuck, why are we overthinking? Like, okay, if you see a fool out here and he look crazy, guess what, Chuck? More than likely he crazy. If somebody out here is exhibiting odd behavior, guess what? They odd. Right? But we're like, well, you don't know what he's going through. I don't have to know. Right? I don't have to know. Right? Because like when you make your sandwich and you open a luncheon meat and it smells funny, you're not thinking like, wow, this smell is peculiar. I wonder what this smell is. Nah, this shit has gone bad. Don't eat it.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? And so it's like one of these things, man. We overthink a lot of stuff, man. We overthink a lot of stuff, bro. Somebody exhibiting odd behavior, guess what? They odd. Somebody doing something crazy, guess what? They crazy. And since we have eliminated certain safety words from our vernacular, a lot of times we overthink and overprocess stuff. Why are we listen? If somebody ordering 1 million rounds of ammo, guess what? They get ready to do something.
Yeah.
They get ready to do something. Yeah, and listen, and here's the other thing too. For some reason, people think the only people buying multiple rounds of semi-automatic ammo are hillbilly white boys in North Dakota. Wrong. Some people are thinking like, you know, man, the gun culture, it's all about these extreme redneck such and such. Wrong. You can go on YouTube right now in the YouTube Shorts section, right? You can talk to and view young, angry black dudes with semi-automatic weapons just firing off, busting off round after round, and they think it's dope. They get kicks out of that. Why? Why? When you got dudes like me, like Uncle Freezy, like the dude y'all looking at right now, that's been in foreign places and had those rounds fired at him. And here I am. Right? So I be up sometimes, and it's not just me. And I ain't gonna say like the other names, but it's about 7, 8, 9 of us that's in this Lawrence Tiz Knicks Universal community that have been through some stuff, can't sleep. You know what I'm saying? Go through a lot of stuff every day. Every day for some of us, every day for some of us is a struggle, right? Some days I'll be in the kitchen just standing there gritting my teeth like wound in a knot, and Mo will just walk to me and just rub me on the back. Hey, come back, big fella. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, oh shoot, man, I done drifted away. And she's like, yeah, I know I saw you because you had been standing there for like 2 or 3 minutes. You ain't move. You was just sitting there like gripping that cup. Thought you was gonna break that cup. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, and it's not just me, it's others, right? So you like everybody, like we go through these things, but we can keep it, but we can hold it in the road, Chuck. We hold it, the veterans hold it in the road. These young people, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 years old, they going out shooting up grocery stores. You need to identify these people and put them away. Right? And I'm not saying jail them. I'm not saying jail them, but yeah, some of these people are insane walking around.
Yes.
And you don't know who they are because they don't have a shirt on that says insane on it. You know what I'm saying? They don't have a shirt that says, hey, I'm crazy on it. They just walking around in normal clothes, walking down the street with a semi-automatic weapon. People will see them by the time they call the police. It's just too much, bro.
It is too much. I think we're so this country has been so commercialized. Like everything is for sale. Like there's no more dealing with issues head on. Is we're just gonna give you a pill for it.
Yep.
You understand what I'm saying? Like, nah, man. Like this person, something's clearly wrong with them because they can't afford not to miss this medication. Let me.
Yeah.
There was a gentleman. If you live in a big city, if you live in a metropolitan area where they have mass transit. I'm quite sure you've encountered folks talking to themselves and
Right.
odd behaviors. Well,
Right.
there was this particular gentleman who stopped traffic for 20 minutes both ways, fighting the bus. Like,
Right. Right.
and I'm like,
Right.
what the? But people know him, and it was like, yo, he usually don't act this, like he don't act like this,
Right.
right?
Right.
The police show up, and he's calm. Ambulance pulled up. He walks in the back of the ambulance. He gets in the ambulance. They take him, where to be evaluated. And I said, it's sad that that guy had to do that because he probably ran out of medication,
Right.
or his insurance is taking
Now we
forever to get
talking.
it.
See, now we
His
talking.
insurance
See,
is
now
taking
we talking.
forever.
Yeah.
Because it's all about money, people. When
Yes, now we
doctors
talking.
nowadays, doctors prescribe medications is because they already in the pocket of whoever that medicine that they're trying to push on you. If you diabetic, oh, we got the Novolog. Oh, we got this type of insulin. Oh no, you want this kind of monitor.
Right.
And they'll peddle this stuff off on you, and your insurance is billed sky high. Now they're like, okay, certain procedures and paperwork has to be filled out, and in the midst of it, you have someone without their medication. And
Right.
had he been violent, what he did was a stunt because he knew he needed to go somewhere to get his medication.
Right.
And whatever he was taking medication for, it would have obviously got worse the longer he would have been without it.
Right.
Like, he didn't hurt nobody,
Right.
but he caused such a scene with this odd behavior, like fighting the bus, punching on the bus, breaking the windshield wiper blades,
Right.
biting on shit. Like, okay. And if he was really into a zone or he really flipped out,
Right.
them cops wouldn't have been able to talk to him.
No. Because he
You know
wouldn't
what
have
I'm
been able to hear him. He wouldn't have been able to hear him.
Exactly. But now he gets to go for the next 30 days or however many days, and he'll be taken care of. And before he leaves that facility, they'll make sure that he has his medication, right?
Right. Right.
Hey, but Chuck, let me ask you this, and I know this is going to seem like a thing, something a million miles away, right? But did that bus have advertising on it?
Absolutely.
I bet you it did. I bet you it did.
Absolutely. It's advertising. There are posters everywhere on the bus and on the outside of the bus. It's all about commerce, man. It's all about money. They don't care. Michael Jackson had a song called "All I Want to Say Is That They Don't Really Care About Us."
Yep. Yep.
Because
but I blame Mike too, though. I blame Mike too, though, bro.
Okay.
Hey, so hold on. Benny is in here having a meltdown. Hold on, I'll be
All
right
right.
back. Okay, I'm gonna put this thing on the screen.
No problem. But the reason I'm saying that is because clearly there's people who have been traumatized, people that are not mentally well out there, and they're not getting the help that they need. And it's too late. Killing them doesn't solve the problem, because there are more people like that out there than we care to admit. And a lot of these things that happen in the Midwest, I'm not trying to belittle anything, but I'm definitely starting to believe there's something in the water, man. Like, it can't just be Flint, Michigan with dirty water, with all of the crap that's going on in Chicago and now the suburbs of Chicago, because it's starting to become where there's nowhere safe. Like, you don't want to be out having a picnic or outing with your family at the zoo, and then here comes some nut job with a semi-automatic or automatic weapon just discharging into a crowd of people. What are the red flags? You know what I'm saying? Like, are you supposed to be, untrusting of everyone? How do you live with your head on a swivel all the time? Like, any moment, anytime you do anything, pump gas, go to the laundry, be at a parade with your family. DSJ, like, I'm definitely not a conspiracy theorist, but I do believe it has to be more than meets the eye when it comes to that. No pun intended, because you use nanotechnology and more than meets the eye, you know, transformers. But I'm saying that to say, this behavior is becoming contagious. Um, because all these people being shot, these young people being shot in Chicago, like all this killing, we can call it tribalism, but at what point does your conscience set in, like murdering? I'm killing you because you said something on the internet, or because you're from another desolate part of town, or desolate side of the street. Like, that's crazy. And see, when it comes to that, they have the red flags or warning signs of what to look for from urban youth, right? And some of those stereotypes can be applicable to some, but not to all. Everybody that's wearing a do rag isn't up to no good. You know, everybody that sags their pants aren't up to no good. But the probability that something could occur, yeah, it depends on where you are. I think that um, there are no real identifying markers for folks. But like Unc said, man, you're ordering millions of rounds, hundreds of thousands of rounds. Something is wrong. And one thing that has to be understood as well is that the NRA are not ruled and governed by the government. Don't let them fool you, because they get to do whatever they want. Because they have the money to do so. In this country, if you can have whatever cause you want, but if it ain't backed by money, it ain't that cause might as well just be a t-shirt, because nothing is going to get done. That is why so many different special interest groups have leapfrogged the African American community when it comes to getting laws passed and changed in our favor. they will tell you it's organization. That's part of it, but it's also not having money. Money bullshit walks. That's a fact. Mr. Vince says these domestic terrorists seem to be lacking a soul, like a real life Westworld, where there's killing machines have been activated to kill anybody. Amen. There's a difference between, in my opinion, and I know it seems like semantics, but there's a difference between killing someone and murdering them, in my opinion. Because if someone breaks into your house or barges into your house, and you pull out your legal firearm and you discharge it in protection of your family and they die, you killed them without question. But I don't look at you as someone who committed murder because I'm upset with you because it did me dirty in what I perceived, dirty business. So I shoot up your house, or I shoot you in your car, or I kill you and your family. Like that's different. There's a level of premeditation there. So I in my mind I rationalize it as there are killers and there are murderers, and I think taking a life, man, has become so trivial. Like people say it in a heartbeat. They're willing to kill and they'll kill somebody. People are doing it, shooting people point blank in the streets because you dislike them.
Right.
What is that?
What is that? Have we gotten to that?
Yes, sir.
I was going to say, Chuck, have we gotten to that place where that's the new normal for us?
Yes, because violence, violent imagery has been a staple of American culture. Like, if you watch Westerns, everything was violent.
Yes.
There was hardly any talking other than you meet me at noon and you draw down. Like
there was a code though, Chuck. But there was a code. See, there was a code with that though.
Right.
Right. And now even gangsters even the gangsters I talk to, they'd be like, man, there used to be a code out here, but now there ain't no codes no more.
Because everyone is a fan of Scarface and not The Godfather.
Right.
Because think about like, I know we've bashed or at least gave our honest opinion of the movie, but think about that guy. That guy didn't have any honor or any code.
Right.
He was loyal. He was loyal to himself.
Loose cannon. He was a loose cannon. And we embrace we embrace the loose cannon now. We love the loose cannon.
But a loose cannon can't be trusted because they're a loose cannon.
Because they're a loose cannon.
And
hey,
so
Chuck, you mind if I tell a story right here?
Absolutely. Go ahead.
So in our community, we used to have this dude. I ain't gonna say his name because I don't want to give him no shine. But he was a loose cannon. I never met him before this one day, right? I had got out of the military. I was staying with my peoples and all types of things, right? Just, hanging out, trying to figure out what's the next step of my life. What am I going to do with myself? And it was like, hey, man, such and such here now, man, you might not want to leave your bike out here not chained up because he might take it. He ain't going to steal it. He going to come and take it and ride and just leave it down the road. I was like, what? He was like, yeah. You just take it. I'm talking about with y'all in the yard. You're like, yeah. You just walk in your yard and take your stuff and walk off. So we sitting out here on picnic tables. And they're like, Uncle Freezy, did he go? Don't say nothing to him. We out there, we grilling. And one of my aunt's boyfriends or whatever was grilling, and this dude walked in the yard and picked over the food and was standing there eating. And was about and I laughed. I was like, yo, this fucking thing. This whole thing. He in my mind, like everybody else, they ain't say nothing. They was nervous. Because he a big dude, Chuck. This dude is a big dude. I'm talking about he's like 6'8"-ish. About 250, 260-ish. And basically, he was Debo before the movie Friday came out. He was Debo before Friday had came out. Right?
Okay.
He's about 6'8", about 250, 260, 270, 280, something like that. And he just picking over he legit picking up food, moving it, and getting the one he want with his hands. Right? And they all quiet and nervous. And so he about to walk off. I'm like, hey, man, this is Chuck. You know me. Hey, man, you owe me $70. You're like, what? And real deep voice, like Barry White. Would you say they're Red Man? And he laughed like Red Man was supposed to insult me or I'm supposed to be scared. Right? I was like, hey, you owe me $70. What is it going to be? Cash or check? And that was my term for fight. Because if you don't give me no cash, I'm going to check your chin. So is it cash or
yes,
check?
Sir.
So is it cash or check? Is what I tell him. Because if you don't give me no cash, I'm about to check your chin. Right? So this dude was like, yeah, you must be new around here. Like, new? Okay. I grew up around here. I used to come down here I ain't telling him that. I'm like, what? He been checking y'all this long? Well, he comfortable? He walk in anybody's yard, he say anything to anybody, and y'all don't say nothing. Chuck, mind you, this dude's like 6'8", 6'9". Like when I say big, bro, I'm not talking about random. I'm not talking about 6'2", 200. I'm talking about this dude is bigger. This dude is bigger than NFL players big. Right?
He's
you know what I'm saying? Yeah, he that big, but he in shape though. He like the dude that, you know what I'm saying, he you know what I'm saying, he always in and out of jail. You could tell he work out, whatever. You know what I'm saying? So I'm hey, is this gonna be cash or check? Because right now, if you don't give me $70, I'm gonna check your chin. And my aunties and them in nervous. They in the yard. They all nervous. Like, let the boy eat. Look at him. Look how dirty he is. And he like, dirty. I ain't dirty, B. He called my aunt a B. He called my aunt a B. And my uncles them is so mad and so scared at the same time. But this dude, Chuck, this dude is like 6'8", 6'9", about 270. Yeah. Yeah. And you can't just kill him and then go to jail for the rest of your life. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I was like, yo, I tell you what, come here. And he looked at me like, come here. So I walked to him and I pushed him and go straight in his pocket. What you got in here? And he looking at me like, what? And then my aunts and them is like, you know what I'm saying? Oh, you know how your family get nervous because they know something bad is about to happen, but ain't nothing you can do really. Y'all don't do that in mama yard. No, we get ready. Not only is we get ready to do it, we get ready to do it right here. You know what I'm saying? Reach in his pocket, he ain't got nothing in there. Right? And he tried to grab me and do something, Chuck. I've been in the military, bro. And I boxed in the military. He tried to do all the old street moves, like try to grab me by your throat. I take his hands, I elbow him in the nose. You know what I'm saying? These are you remember the Pugil Pit? You remember the Pugil Pit in basic training?
Yes.
Remember the basic stuff? You remember the basic stuff they taught you? I'm doing all this little stuff, laughing, and it's working on this dude, right? Little stuff. I ain't even got to whip out the hands yet. I wanted to whip out the hands so bad. My auntie and I'm like, Uncle Freezy, don't do that in grandma yard. Now my grandma and my grandmother in the screen door yelling at me. Hey, yeah, go man. I'm gonna call the man. And down south, the police, we call the police the man. I'm gonna call the man. Right. So Chuck, I dust him up. I legit dust him up, right? I ain't even hurt him. Right? I ain't even hurt him. He lunging at me. He trying to punch me, trying to do all something. He ain't laid one paw, ain't laid a fingernail on me, right? Right? He swing. I move out of the way. I kick him in his rump, push him down. He ain't know how to fight. He ain't no fighter.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But he big. And when people see size, you know how it is.
Yeah. Them guys don't never have to know how to fight because people don't try them.
Because no, they rarely see somebody their size.
Right.
And they know who to try and when to try him. You're going to try my uncle with his girl out there. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You're going to try my uncle with my grandma in the door. You know what I'm saying? But if we was down the street shooting dice, you ain't going to try nobody. Because everybody got guns. Everybody got razors. Bullets bullet don't care how big you is. You know what I'm saying?
Nope.
And so I dust them up, right? And I'm not advocating for violence, y'all. I'm not advocating for violence. I'm not. What I'm saying is people have these things in their mind where they can feel like they could bully and based on what their advantages. You know what I'm saying? They go out there and bully y'all and do these things to y'all. And look, a dude that's 6'8", I'm not 6'8", right? And I'm not 270 pounds either, right? But especially at that time, I was way smaller at that time. But the fact of the matter is, people try to bully and intimidate and do all these things to you to see what it is that they can get, right? In this case. In other cases, though, people legit have mental illnesses. They have something wrong with them. And if we don't help them or check them, some kind of way, keep them in their lane, whether it's medication or facilities or counseling or something bad is going to happen. Right? And in this case, my uncles was like, he lucky. You know what I'm saying? My wife out here, because I ought to pull out that razor. Not like, you ain't got to pull out no razor, man. You ain't got to do that, bro. When I'm here, I'll make sure we always be straight. Right? I'll make sure we always be straight. But when them Roger Woods go on the grill, You can't be the first one to go to the grill to get that Roger Wood. You got to look out for your nephew. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, but nephew, I'm an old man. You need to be looking out for old people. You know, so this is how, you know how we talk or whatever. And so what I'm getting at is, bro, is people legit have like these illnesses and these things. This dude, I saw him last year. Now he all gray. And his son walking up and down the street doing the same thing. Right? Nobody say nothing to him. His son out there. Right? I saw his son. His son was about to come over to the thing, and they just kept on walking. And I was like, "Yep, you know better," because I will dust up both of y'all out here. Even with my bad legs and out of shape and all that, you ain't just gonna try us and push us around, because people in our community need to feel safe. Right? When we lose that feeling of safety, then we've lost everything. You can't even go in your own yard and have a small family cookout without feeling like somebody is like your safety is in danger. Right? We need to feel safe. And what about these mass shootings and all these different things? We're violating people's safety, and to be, oh God dog it, TJ Warren just signed with Brooklyn, Chuck. God dog it. Hey, Mr. Vince, TJ Warren just signed with Brooklyn, bro.
He whack.
No, hey man, come on, bro. Come on, cut up, shoot us some bail, man. Yo, so but what I'm getting at is this: when you can't raise your family in a place feeling safe, if you can't go out and maintain your family feeling safe, if your kids grow up being bullied, whether it's physical, emotional, mental, cyberbullying, all of that hurt. All of that hurt. And it's just not like, it's like physical beatings hurt, but mental beatings hurt, bro. Emotional beatings hurt. Right? And we got to stop these things from happening to us, bro. We can't, and listen, and this is not a black or white thing, a young or old thing, a rich or poor thing, right? This is not just a Asian bullying thing. This is just not a Hispanic being overlooked thing. This is not a black people being the enemy of everybody thing. This is a people thing. This is not a white people victim thing. This is everybody, bro. This is a everybody thing, right? Because at the end of the day, even though we're all different and have different backgrounds, like say for instance, me and Mr. Vince are at a different stage in life than a lot of you guys, right? But this ain't even just about me and Mr. Vince. This is about y'all too. I want 69 Vibes to be safe when he go out, right? And if we're together, if me, 69 Vibes, and Almighty Finesse are together somewhere, and somebody don't make us feel safe, guess what we're gonna do? I personally am gonna try to remove this threat. Usually by talking like, go on, young fella, y'all go on with that mess. Go on. Yeah. We ain't come here for that. We just came to hang out. Me, Almighty Finesse, 69 Vibes, and listen. We just came out here to hang out and have fun. That's it. So we verbally give you the one, like go on now. We gone to get in the road. Burn the road up. Get out my eye. We're gonna say, Chuck, I'm gonna use all the old people sayings. You remember the old man used to have all the sayings? You know, the old man to be out there, you be like, the old man to be like, all right now, burn the road up. Get out my eye. All right, now go on with that mess now. Peel rubber, burn rubber.
Yeah.
Peel out. You know, all them things to tell you to go on about your business. Yeah. All them things to tell you to go on about your business. Go on with that foolishness, right? So I said that because we get to a point, man, if we don't feel safe, if we don't feel safe, man, if we don't feel safe that we can go out and just be ourselves, right? If we can't just feel safe to be ourselves, who can we be then? Who can we be, Chuck? Me and you, think about it. Me and you together, and say we in line at the bodega. We laugh and talk about the Knicks, and like a dude just come bump through us, move. You know what I'm saying? I'm in a rush, man. Move out the way. Chuck gonna have a meltdown. I already know it. But I'm like, hey, young fella, watch it now. Just get your sandwich and burn the road up. Chuck gonna be already willing to throw hands. Chuck, calm down, bro. Chuck, calm down. Calm down, Chuck. This young fella, he don't mean no harm. He just hungry. Chuck, like, no, Chuck, calm down, bro. Go outside and smoke some. Go outside and smoke some gorilla cake. I got your sandwich, bro. I'll pay for it. You know what I'm saying? Chuck, yeah. I'm right. Chuck, calm down, bro. Just go smoke some gorilla cake outside, bro. I got your stuff. You want a Fago? You want a pineapple Fago to go with your sandwich? I got you. You know what I'm saying? Chuck, like, yeah, I'm all right. Chuck, calm down. And young fella could be like, man, who y'all think y'all must not know who I am, bro. I could care less who you are. I generally don't give a shit. That was your warning. Get your stuff and get in the road. Because all of us not built the same. You might have did that yesterday to somebody. You might have did that yesterday to Puerto Rican Chi-Chi, but guess what? Guess who here now? Uncle Freezy here today. So that stunt you pulled yesterday with Puerto Rican Chi-Chi might have worked with him. But Uncle Freezy is there. I don't care nothing about. And then that's where you slap him across the. And then you throw him through the potato chip rack. And Poppy in the bodega like, what y'all doing? My store. And then after that, after he called the cops and the cops take an hour or so to get there, you know, Poppy from the bodega but like, man, I'm glad you did something to him because he been coming in here for about a month doing the same thing. I'm glad somebody did something to him. You know what I'm saying? It's just how it is.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna come up here and I'm gonna blast. Okay.
All right.
You're gonna come up here and you're gonna blast. But like Tupac said, I'm not living in the past. You want to last? Be the first to blast. You know what I'm saying? Like Tupac said. You know what I'm saying? Like you ain't about to threaten us with no guns because you're trying to bully us. That's not gonna happen. And it's gonna take communities. It's gonna take communities to buck back. Because when you let people push the boundaries, guess what? People are gonna push the boundaries until the boundary. There are no more boundaries, bro.
Absolutely.
You ever notice that? You ever notice when the first day of school you get bullied for the rest of the year? I remember a dude walked by me. I was in 9th grade at Dickinson, bro. A dude walked by me and slapped my milk on the floor. Right? And I think it took like 9 teachers and the assistant principal to stop us from fighting, bro. Because all summer long, cats on the hill like, yo, they're gonna try you when you get over there. You better be ready. See, I wasn't ready for words like syllabus. As an 8th grader going to the 9th grade, I wasn't ready for words like syllabus. You know what I'm saying? And things like that. I was ready for survival. Right? Because you got to stand your ground. People got to know that, you know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying violence for violence. What I'm saying is this. These communities that allow things like this to happen are going to always allow things like that to happen. Right? And it's the reason why police patrol the streets. Because they don't want stuff like that to happen. Right? They don't want stuff like that to happen because a lot of times in these places, man, like Flint. Like the Flint with the water thing, right? You remember the first time you heard about the water thing in Flint? What year was that? 2013?
Yes. Yeah.
So the water
2013 to 2014. Yeah.
Right. And so but it had been going on for years. But that's the first time you and I had heard of it. They had been dealing with it for like 10 years before that. Up to 10 years before they bottling water. They got a boiling water, all kind of stuff in Flint. Right. And trust me, I know because I used to purchase properties for a group. I'm not going to get into that, but I used to purchase properties in Flint for somebody, blah, 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 blah. Fast forward, that was my job, right? And the reason why the property value was so low is because of the water issue in Flint. Right. I could legit buy 10 houses. I could buy 10 houses for $70,000. $70,000, I can go in and buy 10 houses. Right? All of them, 5-bedroom, 3-bathroom. Yes.
Damn.
Chuck, hey, listen, I know stuff about I know stuff about the property management game. Me and you will talk about it online offline. When y'all buying these houses for such and such amount of money, y'all have no idea what a mortgage is, bro. If y'all knew what a mortgage was, if y'all knew what property value is, if y'all knew what the term property value is and what a property is worth is, y'all would throw up. Because the property value is a projection of what the property is worth, not what it's actually worth. How much could I get for this house if I was to sell it on the open market? Oh, you could easily get $600,000 for it. Well, how much is it really worth? About $28,000. Wait a minute. I'm selling it for a list price of $600,000. Is actually worth $28,000. Yeah, but you ain't gonna get $600,000. You're gonna get triple that, 4 times that at the end of the 30 years. So a property that was legit worth $28,000, you bought it for $28,000. You are going to collect $2.4 million off that property at the end of those 30 years. But I didn't want to get into that. I wanted to speak to the first point that you mentioned, Chuck. The first point that you mentioned, you know what I'm saying, about the violence in our communities. It's a shame. It's a crime. And it doesn't make sense. Yeah, man.
It doesn't. When we were speaking to that, and I mentioned the Scarface, I believe Mr. Vince stated something. It was Scarface didn't go shoot up any schools, but I was using the Scarface reference as to how our communities operate. Like it's very cutthroat.
Right.
And they don't respect the rules. Everyone's above the law. The rules don't apply to me. I make the rules. Like, for some reason, following rules or being accountable, the young men today believe that in this world you make it by yourself. And if you get any type of assistance, you weak and your accomplishments don't mean anything.
Yeah, you soft, bro.
Right. Yeah. And I just think that's a ploy to keep us separated and not to come together. Because guess what? Everyone can't lead at the same time.
Right.
It doesn't work that way. And there's nothing you can do by yourself,
right?
In this country, you need others with you. Like if there was just one, yes, sir.
Hey, Chuck, let me do something real quick. I got, I'm gonna go pay a car off. I got to do something real quick. I wanna pay a car off real quick. So okay. I want you to keep rocking, right? And I'm gonna be listening. Right, but I want to do the next morning drive, I want to do the next morning drive at 11. And if I do it at 11, by the time I finish, I don't know if I have time to do it. So keep rocking. Okay. I'm gonna get in the car and go up here and pay like a couple of these cars off or a car off, and come back and rock with you. And then I'm gonna make a quick transition over to the KMD. So, y'all, it's going to be a busy day for us. It's July 5th. It's July 5th, right? The day after 4th of July. We telling everybody be safe out here and all the stuff that y'all doing. I'm going to get off the screen for a little bit. Chuck going to rock. Chuck, I'm going to be listening from the car. Just give me a few minutes to tune back in through the phone. I'm going to go do this real quick because today is going to be a busy day for vibes and stuff. And Chuck, I'm thinking about doing a chop it up tonight at around 6.
Okay.
maybe 6 to 8:30, 6 to 9. So Vibesters, if y'all want to come back and talk some Knicks on Vibes and on Chop It Up, that's what I really feel like doing. I want to talk about the Knicks on Chop It Up, and not the normal Knicks talk, like not the normal Jalen Brunson is such and such. I ain't want to talk about that. I want to talk about how y'all feeling about the Knicks. So Chuck, I'm gonna disappear for a little bit, right? But I'm gonna be listening, and once I finish, man, I'll be back. Okay.
All right, no problem.
You got it.
All right. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right. All right.
So you all got the info. We're just gonna keep everything rocking and rolling. I think with our communities, we definitely have to realize that we need each other to survive. As difficult as it is to do things on your own, you need a tribe with you. You know, one thing that I was always told back in the day when it came to the hustlers and the criminal element of the neighborhood, they made sure that they protected the neighborhood too. You know what I mean? Like if someone was killed in by a stray bullet or unintended, killing, the person who was responsible turned themselves in, and whoever ran that neighborhood, they paid for the funeral. They put money in that person's pocket to keep one, law enforcement off they behinds, and two, keep the community behind them, even if they were doing wrong. Now it's just, yo, I'm wrong, I'm gonna keep doing wrong, and y'all just have to accept what we're doing. And it's like, nah, man, these people are tired of living in fear. You know what I'm saying? Can't allow their kids to play anywhere or do anything because y'all can't shooting up the block. Like that's wild. And so you have that element going on in the hood, and then now here in suburbia, where people think it's safe, where people who get a little bit of money, where they move to rid themselves of being in these poverty stricken areas where violence and crime are high. You move out here and you could be going to Home Depot and get shot by some other mentally ill person who's been hopped up on energy drinks and drugs, or just not taking their medication, or being undiagnosed as a paranoid schizophrenic, or I believe that being hateful is a mental illness. Like, how do you meet people you've never met before? Like, that's crazy. I could see if you said, I personally did something to you, therefore you don't like me because of that. There's a chain, maybe a chain of events that can explain it. There's a story behind it. But for you to tell me anything that doesn't have anything to do with me particularly is the reason you don't like me, or I don't like black people because black man ran over my dog when I was 5 years old. I didn't even know you at 5. I don't like white people because they used to treat my grandfather bad, and I used to watch it. That was those white people. Those white people were terrible. Those white people didn't have respect for your grandfather. Not all white people. Or even if it was 100 people, it's those 100 people in your town, in your neck of the woods. It don't mean everyone's like that. I think that's something too. Being hopped up on misinformation. and allowing your prejudices to override, good judgment. But hey man, it is what it is. I didn't want to spend all that time talking about the mass shooting, but I think this is becoming something, and it's only going to get worse until we address this. It's only going to get worse until we address this. Right. Lack of understanding. Yeah. I mean, like, you are who you are. You're not what people say you are or what society may deem you. You are who you are. And once you become in tune with that, I think that's a lot of people's problems, is not being comfortable with who they are. Because when you're comfortable who you are, it doesn't matter what other people say. Um, yes, we're definitely it. I have this theory, and it's just a theory. It's nothing been proven. It was just something I've been thinking about. Um, if you if you were born in the 80s, if you were born in the 80s, 70s to 80s, um, you're the last era of a time before. And what I mean by that, uh, people that grew up in the 70s and 80s, it was the beginning of the video game era, like as far as home consoles. Because I think ColecoVision was the first, then Atari in the 70s, and then you had the emergence of Nintendo in the early 80s and the mid 80s, Sega Genesis. One thing about those video games during that time, you only had a allotted amount of time to play those video games. Like, you were literally kicked out of the house. Like, y'all kids get outside and go play. Um, y'all ain't gonna be on that game all day. And my grandma, my aunties, those, like, they meant that. You think they won't come in and unplug the game? They don't give a they don't care what board you was on. They don't care how long you was trying to make it there. They unplugged it. Everybody out the house. You can suck your teeth all you want. That probably get you slapped, but and I'm talking about, there's no memory cards where you could save where you were at. Like, now, man, you had to start all over again. So I'm saying all that to say, like, we were the last generation of going outside. Do you remember, like, when everybody in the hood or everybody on your block in your neighborhood, everybody had a bike? Or if you didn't have a bike, you'll help somebody piece together a bike. You get a wheel from here, a chain from here, so everybody could ride. If you didn't have a bike, you ride with somebody, and it'll be like 10, 15, 20 of y'all together just riding. When was the last time you seen that? All these parks in the city, if it's not a tournament, I don't see people just outside. I don't see dudes just running games on the court. I don't hear I got next. I don't see it. Now, granted, I don't be outside every day all day, but I live near a lot of parks, man. And like I said, if it's not a tournament, like, I hardly ever seen it. Usually people in those eras, man, like, they be outside all day. Like, you got to come get us, man. Like, once you put us out for the day, you had to come back. Like, you be upset to go in the house. Like, being inside the house was punishment. Like it would be agonizing. Your mama said you couldn't go outside, and all you can hear is everybody yelling and screaming and having fun outside, but you can't go. Like, man. So now you have a generation of people that don't go outside. And I blame part of that on I blame part of that because of the violence. Like parents didn't want to, send their kids outside because you don't know what's going to happen to them. They could be playing and then some stuff happen outside. And so if you have them in the house and they're playing the game, not much is going to happen. Right. I'm gonna touch on that in a minute, Savage and Why. I agree with that, but so I blame a lot of the the video game era on not being able to go outside. And then most of the popular games that people play, like I'm not absolved from this either. Like, I love GTA. When I broke my neck and I couldn't get out of bed, my brother was I can't remember which one was it. Was it San Andreas? No. I can't remember. It was one of them, right? And my brother used to play that game all the time. It was so entertaining. Like I thought it was a movie. I was like, what kind of movie is this? This movie sounds pretty good. And it's a video game. And that game became addicting. Like, and I feel like, the saying, you are what you eat. So if you're always consuming nothing but violence, violent video games, violent, movies, violent television, violent music, like eventually violence is going to come out. Just like if somebody eats salami all the time, sooner or later they'll put, that salami scent is going to start exfoliating out of their pores. Like you've been eating salami today? Nah, man. But they've eaten so much of it, it just comes out. And I feel like if you have a steady diet of kill, murder, when something happens, that's the first thing that pops in your mind. It's the first thing that pops in your mind when something goes off. Like if you have a steady diet of, running up on the ops with the stick, shooting the N-word, killing the N-word, busting the N-word, don't playing with N-words. As soon as you come in contact with someone in a potentially escalated situation, it automatically goes to 100 real quick, only because you've allowed that spirit of murder to permeate, man. We can't blame video games. That's no, I'm not blaming video games, but you can say that once you have a steady diet of something, if okay, every movie that you watch is gratuitous violence, right? Every video game you play is gratuitous violence. And every song that you listen to is gratuitous violence. It will manifest itself at some point in your life. Murders didn't just start with video games. Murder happens because people are evil and wicked, right? Sometimes people are just evil and wicked. I'm speaking to a forced mentality on people. Because if you can say, yo, man, if you keep eating all of those burgers, you're gonna gain weight. Why is it not Why can't the same thing be said for if you have a steady diet of violent imagery, whether it's visual or audible, this stuff can manifest with inside of you. Especially if you're a person that aren't in control of your emotions as it is. Okay, let me say this. Television shows and movies having anything to do with slavery, and they have these harsh depictions and stuff like that, or anything dealing with the Jim Crow or segregation pre civil rights movement. I don't like watching that at all because it stirs up something on the inside of me. And these are movies. Some of them are documentary. Some of them are fact. Most of it's fact, and then some of it's fiction, just Hollywood movies. But I can't take that in because I then sympathize and empathize with the people in those depictions being treated that way. Yeah, be civilized. You definitely have a point. You definitely have a point. I don't think that's the again, I'm not movies aren't the problem. Just like alcohol is not a problem if it's consumed with moderation. But you have so many idiots who overindulge and then get behind the wheel or try to operate heavy machinery or try to do a job that being intoxicated is the worst thing that you can possibly do. And so alcohol is not the problem, it's people's consumption. Even when it comes to movies, video games, and television, it's all about consumption. Like how long, yo, had I not gotten the diagnosis that I got earlier this year, man, I could have been dead somewhere, laid up, in a hospital with critical injuries because of the things that I was putting in my body. Eating cheeseburgers, hot dogs, all times of the day and night. Living off of energy drinks and sugary drinks. But no, of course not. Of course not. D Public. Here's what I'm saying. Because you don't do it, I feel like your mind is strong, right? You're angry about what you saw, but it doesn't infuriate you to the point where you want to do this. But there are people who sit there and they watch this stuff and it builds anger and resentment in them. And as soon as they're in the store and a white person, excuse me, they go off. There are people like that. And try to dismiss that, I feel like that's a disservice. There are people like that. There are people, because you're strong in an area, that doesn't mean people aren't. Like everyone has their weaknesses. Like I don't care for sweet potato pie. I don't like candy yams. So you could never be in my face eating a sweet potato pie like, Chuck, this is so good. This is the best pie I've ever had in my life. And I'm like, oh, I bet it is. Like it wouldn't faze me, right? But if it was something I like pizza cobbler, banana pudding, I'd be like, oh man, go get out of my face with that, because that's something that appeals to me, right? That's something that I have a weakness for, and people have weaknesses, man. Everything can't be consumed by everyone, because everyone doesn't digest it the same way. Whereas you could process information, see it for what it is, and look at this as only entertainment and move on. Other people can't. Other people can't. I've watched people who ran into their favorite celebrities and try to have a conversation to them about a character in which they played. Like, oh, you didn't have to do that girl like that. Why you did that? That's so messed up. And you're like, yo, it's a freaking movie. That ain't really his name. He didn't really know her. That was just there are a lot of gullible minds out there. There are a lot of people that can't distinguish fact from fiction. Yeah, man. Like if everybody was stronger or mentally, then we could absolutely say these things. But there are just some people that aren't. There are people that live their lives by the crap that they see in movies, or they hear in rap songs, or music in general. We have a lot of people of lacking identity. They'll come on forums like this, they'll have, a moniker or a handle like Chuck Allen, and they'll come on and try to present themselves one way when it's, their life may not be like that. Like y'all can see, this ain't really my background. I'm not living in Prince's basement with purple walls and purple lavender couches. Yeah, man. Nah, man. I like I said, man. It's not necessarily the movies. It's individuals, man, and how they were raised and how mentally strong they are. To say things like movies and television and music don't influence us is not true, man. It's not true at all. But it's all about about your upbringing, having a moral compass and knowing what's right or what's wrong, know what's for you and what's not for you. And folks don't know because they haven't they don't understand themselves. For most of their lives, they've been trying to live according to what other people think, or what they think other people would want from them, and not be who they are. And so they're constantly influenced by the things they see and hear. Like think about this. You've got more fat asses in the last 10 years than in life, period. Like seeing a woman with an incredible shape, it was like once in a blue moon type of thing. But now everybody's shaped like that. Why is that? Why are so many women going to get these BBLs and breast augmentations? Why are dudes putting shoe polish on their face and on their heads? Y'all call it Beijing, but it's shoe polish to me. Straight up shoe polish. The same joint that we would use to shine our boots with. Kiwi black shoe polish. Bodega Wi-Fi says in Finland, they don't go to school until 8 years old. They focus on spirituality first. I think having a spiritual foundation is important. I think one day I want to have that conversation too. Having religious beliefs and then being, a religious fanatic, because I think there's a clear distinction between the two, and for some reason they get lumped together, and I don't think that's fair. Because there have been definitely forces and entities that have perverted different sectors of religious belief, for their own gain. But that's a different conversation for a different day. But what else? D-Ross says, know thyself, study thyself, love thyself. Damn, I wish I could highlight that for sure. For sure. Hey, D-Ross, I don't know if you got that on a shirt or not, but you need to put that on some shirts. That's fire right there. I mean, it's very simple. There aren't words that I haven't heard before, but definitely those are absolutely words to live by. Know thyself, study thyself, love thyself. Because when you know yourself, you can't be offended by the things people say, because you know who you are, and the way that person is describing you or the things that they're saying about you can't be true, because you know who you are. And when you study yourself, you know the areas that you're weak in, and areas that you need help. Those won't be things that people could ever bring up to you, right? And loving yourself, because no one's going to love you better than you, for sure. Be Civilized says environment, education, upbringing, and whom we socialize with on a day-to-day basis plays a big part in oneself. Absolutely. Absolutely. The mass shooting in Buffalo, the mass shooting in Texas, and the mass shooting yesterday, all the shooters felt like nobody. Right. D Public. Absolutely. And that's the main point that we were trying to get to earlier, was that there's something wrong with folks mentally. There's mental health crisis in the United States that is not being addressed, because in these suburban areas you have these mass shooters that feel that are depressed and stressed out and feel like no one loves them, and things of that nature, right? But then you have the PTSD from people that grow up in urban areas, um, who have to duck bullets every day, that aren't gang affiliated, right? Who are trying to just go to school and get out. Bodega Wi-Fi says most mental problems come from poor gut health. Hey, there's some truth to that, man. You gotta be very careful of the things that you put inside your body. Like I used to, laugh at some of my Muslim friends when I was younger, and some, my Israelite friends. They were always, "What's in it? Not eating this and not eating that." And I'm like, man, y'all bugging. But yes, a lot of these preservatives and things that they put in food to keep them, man, aren't good for your bodies. Chuck, cop shot black man 60 times in Akron. Hold on, Bodega. I have to. I'm gonna check that story out. Hold on. Okay. All right. Let's do this. Okay. We're gonna pull this up. It says Jalen Walker, a 25-year-old black man who was unarmed at the time he was killed by police officers in Akron, Ohio last week, was shot 60 times, authorities said over the weekend when they released body cam image of the shooting. The sheer number of bullets that were fired, as many as 8 officers involved in the shooting, has prompted a renewed question of politicians and activists who are criticizing what they view as excessive use of police force. Officers are trained to shoot until the threat they perceive or reasonably perceived has ended. Okay. Okay. Okay, so what was he? What was he? Wow. Like I'm reading this story in real time. Like I hadn't read this before, man. Like I didn't know anything about this. Okay. Officers attempted to stop Walker's car around 12:30 a.m. for unspecified traffic and equipment violation, but less than a minute into the pursuit, sounds of shots were heard from the car, and transportation department camera captured what appeared to be muzzle flashing coming from the vehicle. Okay. Police chief said that changed the nature of the case from a routine traffic stop to a now public safety issue, he says. Police body camera video shows what unfolded after roughly 6-minute pursuit. Several shouting officers with guns drawn approach a slowing car on foot. As it rolls up to the curb onto the sidewalk, a person wearing a ski mask exits the passenger door and runs towards a parking lot. Police chase him for about 10 seconds before officers fires from multiple directions in a burst of shots that last 6 or 7 seconds. At least one of the officers had tried first to use a stun gun, but that was unsuccessful. Walker's actions are hard to distinguish on video in real time, but a still photo seems to show him going down to his waist area, and another appears to show him turning towards the officers. He said a third picture captures a forward motion of his arm. In a statement on Sunday, local police union said that the officers thought there were an immediate threat, serious harm, and that it believed their actions and the number of shots will found justified in the line of training and protocol. Over 60 wounds were found on his body. Wow. Okay. So yeah. Yeah, man. So yeah, when it comes to the police, here's the thing about police. It takes longer to become a beautician than it is to become a police officer. You have to go to school longer to become a beautician than it is to become a police officer and patrol the streets. And listen to me and listen to me very carefully. There are certain jobs you have to have the passion for that job. It can't be one of those things that you're just getting to pass the time. Like, it has to be a career goal for you. Like, I don't want someone who's just being a nurse just to pass the time. Like, their real passion in life is something totally different, not even in the medical field. Those people don't really give a damn about their jobs. It's just a job for them. It's just a paycheck. But the people that have passion, you can tell they do their jobs differently. You can tell the cop who wants to do his job because he knows he's patrolling the 3rd ward. So he introduces himself. He makes himself a presence in the community. He gets to know everyone in that neighborhood. So when things go down, he knows who to talk to, where to look, and not just go down there, cracking skulls and busting heads. Like, nah, I know it ain't these kids. The people that we looking for may be black, but it ain't these black people. You know what I mean? Well, this is a job where you can justify an execution, man. Police aren't governed and regulated by the same laws, despite what they tried to tell you. The one or two, three or four that may be newsworthy that become the topic of discussion, however those cases may end up, whether people are prosecuted or not, there are more that are not prosecuted. Cops aren't trained to wound. They're trained to kill. So that person, granted, everything that have reported in the paper sounds like something happened. Because they said that the person jumps out of the car with a mask on. Now, was this a COVID mask? Was this a ski mask? Was it like, what was, you know what I mean? And even in that, shooting him that many times for what? Because guess what? If they can justify why you got shot, or why they had to shoot someone, they get their stories together. It's easy for us to come up with a story versus going to your house and handing your wife a folded up flag. So what we'll do is you just shoot and we'll fill in the blanks. Because I feel like if someone is running away, there's no need, you can catch them another day. This reminds me of in Charleston. This happened around the same time as the mass shooting in that black church down there in Charleston. Police officer pulls a guy over. He has a warrant for child support. The guy runs. The cop shoots him in the back. And I said to myself, you shooting a guy on a child support warrant? There's no justification for that whatsoever. Because okay. So what they're saying is they believed he was in a car earlier that fired shots at them. That's the story that they're saying. So I'm looking at the story to make sure.
Yo,
Yes, sir.
that was a wasted trip. Man, I could have been here rocking with you instead I wasted a trip. Bro, that's crazy. Everything all right, bro?
Yeah, I'm reading this story because they were talking about the guy that got shot 60 times in Akron,
Yeah.
Ohio, and
Right.
and Alawai said that they didn't find a gun, but they're saying a handgun, a loaded magazine, and a parent wedding ring were found on the seat of the car.
Okay. Really? Yeah. It's amazing how that happens when somebody gets shot 60 times, right?
Because this is my thing. If he had intended to shoot you all, there wouldn't be a loaded handgun found on the seat. It would have been found on him. Because the story is they turned, like the guy faked, like he turned and reached in his waist and turned towards them. And so they fired thinking he had a gun. And I'm like, That's why I was like, let me
is that on camera or is that what he said?
That's what they said.
Interesting.
Because the release, the footage released by police with the officers gunfire, it doesn't show what happened next.
Interesting.
I just like that kind of stuff. I just don't. If I'm going out in the blaze of glory, I don't leave the blaze in the car.
Blaze in the car, right?
Like if I'm running to get away. You understand what I'm saying? Like there was no reason for him. There was no reason for him to leave that stuff in the car.
Right.
No, Bodega Wi-Fi. They didn't sprinkle crack on him.
Yeah. Not this time. They forgot.
For those who don't get that reference, that's from Dave Chappelle's "Killing Me Softly."
Yeah.
Or "Killing Them Softly." Hilarious.
Yeah. It's frustrating, bro.
That's what I'm saying. But that's exactly what I'm saying. D Public, like that doesn't make any sense. Like, because if you planned on going out blasting, you don't leave the gun on the seat in the car.
Right.
And then saying that this is the car that fired on you earlier in the evening. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know about that.
Story not jive.
I don't believe the cops because I know they're more often than not they lie and they coerce when they've done wrong.
Yes.
They covered up a child's murder. They murdered a kid and then want to say my bad after the footage is leaked. Y'all covered it up already. Right. Like it's not your bad. You should have came out, oh, our bad. We killed this kid by accident. I think I don't want to go down this rabbit hole, but I'm gonna say it. When it comes to people our complexion, and I mean exactly that, our complexion, because they're not going to stop and ask if you Puerto Rican, you Dominican, you Panamanian, you Jamaican,
right,
you Haitian, you African. They ain't going to ask you none of that. You our complexion. Seems like our complexion gets shot
on the spot. Ask
on the
questions
spot.
Later.
I've seen other ethnicities attack cops and get slammed and handcuffed.
Yo,
calm down.
I've seen Karens Oh my Karens, bro. Oh my God. The Karens, they will argue with the police and frustrate the police. Why are you stopping me? I pay a salary. That type of weird shenanigans. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Do you remember this story? It was big, maybe like a year or so ago, of the girl who attacked the young black kid in the lobby. His father was like a famous jazz saxophone player. She accused him of taking her iPhone, and then her iPhone ended up being left in the Uber or the Lyft that she had just got out of.
Right.
Danielle something. Anyway, they showed a police cam footage of her being arrested prior to that for DUI. And guess who's in the car with her? Her mother. The cops were arresting her. Do you know that while they were handcuffing her and putting her in the car, the mother went and grabbed the cop by the waist and said, don't arrest her. And she wasn't shot.
Right.
She wasn't slammed.
Right.
Her face wasn't pressed into the ground. Not at all. But I'm just saying.
All right. Frustrating, bro.
You
frustrating,
man. Cops are people, man. And then nowadays they're just taking anyone. Like I said, you have to go to school longer to be a beautician, to do hair.
I heard you say that, bro.
Go look at how long you got to be in the academy versus getting your beautician's license. So you mean to tell me I have to have more training to do someone's hair than to protect and serve a community?
Right.
That's ridiculous. I honestly think you should have to go 4 years. Or at least 3.
Right. I honestly think you should be a college graduate, criminal justice degree.
I think so too. Because then you would have people stop, cops violating laws and just thinking because they wear a shield that they can just do whatever they want to. Like, yo, man, this is my property. You can't just walk on my property and tell me nothing. Nobody got to show y'all no IDs. You got a warrant?
Yeah.
I'm the law. That's all the warrant you need.
No. Nah.
Well, if you ain't got nothing to hide, you'll just let us look. Like, man,
no, it don't work like that.
You stop me.
My homeboy is the chief of police too, by the way. I'll call him right now.
Like, man, are you crazy? Well, first of all, you just pulled us over. You could have pulled us over at the gas station. I saw you following us. You could have pulled us over anytime. You wait till we got on this stretch of the road.
In an unsafe area for me.
For me, where you can't even see your hand in front of your face if the lights in the car wasn't on. And you ain't searching mine. You can call. You know how long is it going to take? 45 minutes for the dogs to get here. Well, shit. I'll wait.
Well, those some slow ass dogs, but we'll wait on them.
We'll wait on them dogs. I ain't going nowhere. You ain't going in my car. Well, we could be done with this already if you just, if you ain't got nothing to hide. No, I don't have anything to hide, and you don't have a right to search my car. What did you stop them for? I didn't go blow through a light. I just left the gas station. You saw when you pulled out from the hotel and started following us.
Yeah.
And you waited till we got clear out of town to do this. Nah, man. I seen it in the heat of the night. You ain't about to get me, buddy.
Right.
Yeah, man. And then too, I want to say something. Infantry guys don't make great cops.
Nope.
Because they're not.
So because they're trained to be killers. To
exactly.
make it plain.
I
They're
didn't
trained to
want
be
to say it like
killers.
that, but that's what they are. They're killers.
Yep.
And they're
Now-
trained to be that.
Right. So, and even if they were MPs are trained to take down the worst of the worst.
Yep.
The people that have training that y'all have no clue about, they take them down. All those people that y'all love, and oh, they special forces, they Green Berets, they Rangers, they SEALs. MPs take them down.
Yep.
Military has different training. It's not the same. They're not parallel. And I think it's a disservice that a guy who you sent overseas for the past 7 to 10 years, doing God knows what, to come back, give him no counseling, no real decompression or debriefing of trying to get all of that stuff they experience out. And then the next thing you want to do is stick another gun in their hand and tell them to go patrol everybody.
Right.
When they still aren't sleeping at night.
Right.
Where their alcohol intake is up 3-fold. One time it was just a shot or two.
Yeah.
Now it's the whole bottle. Yes, sir.
And you know that the biggest thing is that's very underrated in this. A lot of these public servants don't get paid nothing, right? And they're in debt up to their eyeballs.
Right.
Right. Because they have a certain status, but then they're not paid up to that status. Right. And so what it does is it puts people like when you're thirsty, bro, when you're hungry for something,
Mm-hmm.
you'll do anything, bro.
Absolutely.
My son Jimmy is a cop, but he can't afford to pay daycare, right? He can't afford his mortgage, and he can't live in these neighborhoods with the people that he patrolled, that he police, even though he make less money than them. Right? Think about this. You make less money than the dope dealer, but you live in a fancier neighborhood because you can't afford to live in the same neighborhood as these guys. Right? For your own safety. Right? And so what it does is it puts you in a mindset that you'll do just about anything. And it creates a mentality that it's just crazy. It creates a weird mindset that you, the cop, make 1/10 what a dope boy makes.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the dope boy make $300,000 a year. You make $30,000 a year. And maybe your wife is a teacher. You met her at a function. Both of y'all underpaid, but y'all live in this fancy house outside of town, stressed. Because not only are you dealing with the dope boy out on the street, your wife, the teacher, are dealing with the dope boy kids at school. And the dope boy kids is wearing Jordans to school, and your kids, you can't afford to do nothing with them.
Nope.
You know what I'm saying? Then you get into debt. You get all these weird police-friendly loans up front. Right? Hey, you know, y'all behind a little bit? Take this loan right here. You know what I mean? And it'll get you out of debt. And it does in the short term. But now you're in a long-term contract where now your whole check is gone every time you get it. Right? And then now when you pull somebody over with cash, you tempted, like, they'll never know if I pinch off this little bit of bread.
Right.
It's $10,000 here. If I take $1,000, nobody even know it's a random dope boy. You know what I'm saying? Now it puts you in all these weird situations, bro.
Right.
Yeah, it puts you in all these weird.
That opens the door for corruption.
Opens the door, and then see, the thing is once you do it one time, you're corrupt forever.
Yep.
Right. Then once you do it one time, you corrupt for it. So now you Thanos shaking down Bumpy Johnson. I forget what Thanos' name was. You remember the detective on American Gangster?
Oh,
Thanos.
Yeah,
Josh Brolin.
Josh
Now you
Brolin.
Josh Brolin. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now you Josh Brolin, bro. You shaking down everybody, right? And then now you got gangsters being shaken down the police. Now the drug dealer got to kill the police, right?
Mhm.
And so when a police officer get killed, now it's like, okay. And listen. One of our dear friends in our neighborhood was a police officer. He was murdered, right? And it shook our community to the core because everybody liked him. He was a good dude, salt of the earth.
Right.
So I'm not advocating for retaliation against police or any of that stuff. I don't believe in retaliation, bro, at all. I don't care if you're a gangster retaliating against the police, you're the police retaliating against gangsters. I don't care about retaliation at all. Right. I don't advocate for any of that stuff. I don't advocate for violence. Period. Right. But if you're a police officer and you get put in that situation and you do pinch off, I'm not saying I agree, but I understand. Right. These dope boys out here putting drugs in our community, taking advantage of such and such and such and such and such. And a police officer pinch off $2,000 something to make his mortgage payment so he won't be foreclosed on. I can dig it. I can understand it. I'm not down with it, but I can understand. It's like that, Chuck. You saw that movie 21 Bridges?
Oh yeah, with my man Black Panther.
Chuck, you getting old.
Harry Boseman.
Chuck, you getting Chuck getting older. You know, how I know people get older is because they see you one time and they call you by that name. Like they see Red Fox. They be like, yeah, I saw that Fred Sanford movie. Yeah, but you saw the end of it, right? Remember the dude at the end before he got the police chief before he got shot and killed? You remember how he explained everything at the end of the movie? Yeah, it's crazy.
Wait, I'm sorry, Unc. I apologize. I was reading something and I didn't hear you. You were saying.
You remember at the end of 21 Bridges, the police chief was explaining something to Chadwick Boseman in the kitchen. He's like, my guys go out here and risk their life, and can't even make their mortgage payments, and you were upset that we pinching off this money to supplement our pay. Right. But at the end of the day, it comes back to, how are you going to police an area that you don't even live in? You don't live here. You choose to live in these expensive neighborhoods and all that stuff. You choose to be separate. Right?
Yes.
You choose to be separate. You work, you the police in Brooklyn, but you live in Westchester. You're the police in Brooklyn, but you live in gentrified Jersey City and you commute to work every day. Right? You harass or strictly police these places like Sunset Park, Red Hook, East New York.
Exactly.
Jamaica Estates. I don't know why I was got those. I love throwing that stuff out there about Queens, Jackson Heights. Yeah. Hey, Williams.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man. So, Chuck, I got the KMD starting 2 minutes ago. So
okay.
I'm a dip.
All right.
I'm a dip. You gonna sit over here and rock, or what you want to do?
No, we can wrap for the day. I gotta make a call, and then I'm gonna come over to KMD. I want to thank everybody for coming out and joining us this morning, man. We had a very, very interesting conversation this morning. I didn't want to take up the whole time talking about Illinois. I wanted to find out how you guys spent your Fourth of July weekend, but hey, man, when you have a good conversation, man, you got to let it flow. But guess what? We'll be back here tomorrow at 7:30. We're going to rock from about 7:30 a.m. to about 9:30 a.m. And that's Monday through Friday. It's your first time. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Make sure you hit that like. Hit all notifications so that when we go live, you'll know and you can come kick it with us. Until tomorrow, man, y'all stay blessed. And I'll see you. Peace.